In 1970, 28-year-old George Burk was a captain in the United States Air Force. Early on the morning of May 4th, Burke and 13 other military personnel boarded a T-29 transport in Northern California for a brief flight to Spokane, Washington.
A few seconds, maybe a minute at the most after takeoff, I heard a crackling sound. And there was a slight pause, and then boom! The airplane decompressed. The noise was deafening. I bent over in the survival position, and I knew I was dead. I remember the impact, the noise of bending, breaking, and shearing metal in the background. Everything went black. I woke up right outside the airplane, face down. All I heard was snap, crackle, and pop. But I think that if death had a sound, that was it. I was determined that I was not going to sit there and die. I remember thinking to myself, get on your feet, get on your feet. I started going into shock. I lay down in the grass and pulled myself up in a prenatal position and praying. I was praying to God to not let me die like this in this field all alone.
A few miles away, rancher John Davio was beginning his morning chores.
Most generally every Monday morning I go out and check the cat. And so I took the pickup and went up. I come to this flat, then I saw the tail of the plane. And then I saw George rolling on the ground. His pants was on fire, his sleeves. First thing I thought was about to get this fire out. I took sand, everything I could scrape, but it did it. So he was burnt pretty bad. And then I said, you stay still, and I'll go after help.
The next person that I saw was looking down at me was a volunteer firefighter. And I looked up through this mist and the fog and the clouds. And I asked him, what about my face? What about my face? And I'll never forget, he leaned back and caught his breath. And I heard his voice crack, said, oh my God. There were 14 of us on the airplane. None survived. Me. I'm the only one. I'm the sole survivor.
George suffered third-degree burns on nearly half his body, with the fingers of his left hand completely burned to the bone. Doctors also treated him for facial and skull fractures and a broken back. Doctors put George's chances of survival at less than 10%.
My mother, for an instant, didn't recognize me. She didn't know who I was. Because I was this tall, virile, handsome, 6'5½", 225-pound Air Force officer. And I was reduced to patches of red and white and bones.
While in the ICU, George had two near-death experiences.
I was walking off of a boat onto a bridge with hundreds of other people. I remember thinking, I'm halfway to where I'm going. I've got to turn around and go back. I've got too much to live for. I can't die yet.
George didn't die, but he suffered through 36 operations, consisting of reconstructive surgeries and painful skin grafts.
I found that with myself and many of the fellows with whom I shared some very intimate moments, the 18 months I was at the burn ward, that if we were going to survive, we were going to have to reach down way deep inside to a place that I personally never knew existed and pull that out. Not just once, but many, many, many times. You dig down, grit your teeth. And you say to yourself, like hell, no way I'm going to die. I'm not quitting. I'll be damned if I'm giving up. And we saw it all around us every day. Guys quitting and giving up. They were victims. They made a choice to die. And when you're sick, dying's real easy. It's a living that's hard.
first steps George took in his search for purpose was to find the man who had saved his life.
I was imagining this for all the years, even when I was still in the hospital. That someday I knew I had to find this man, to try to tell him somehow, thank you for saving my life.
We didn't hear from him for quite a while. And on the ranch, every time I'd go up there, I'd think of him. I'd sit on the stump, have a smoke, and just think about him.
4 years after the crash, George finally found the Davio Ranch.
Oh, how nice it is to see you.
My hero.
Oh, my God.
Love you, Pop.
Love you, too. So we went in the house, and I had a fifth of gin beam. And boy, we made good work out of that.
My values changed as a result of the crash from the standpoint of what I used to believe were important. It's a complete metamorphosis from the external to the internal. Who are you really? What are you made of? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? Who's going to be on your team?
After leaving the burn ward, George Burk remained in the Air Force for another 5 years. Today, he gives motivational talks to survivor groups across the country. He recently authored a book about his life, his accident, and his inner search for meaning.
I'm quite proud of what I've been able to accomplish with my life. I haven't done it on my own. I've had a lot of help. But I know that you surround yourself with people that want you to succeed, not fail. And you're known by the words you keep and the company you use, so choose them both wisely. And that's what I've tried to do. I'm a survivor.